Formal Panel Charge. Staff Sergeant Enlisted Force Distribution Panel, Fiscal Year 2023. You have been selected to serve on this Enlisted Force Distribution Panel, EFDP, which convenes under the provisions of the Department of Air Force Instruction 362406, Officer and Enlisted Evaluation System. You work for the Force Distributor under the direct guidance of the Panel President. While performing this service, you have a dramatic and enduring effect on advancing us towards the Air Force we need. Your duty is to evaluate the performance of staff sergeants eligible for promotion to tech sergeant. Air Force policy limits the number of promote now and must promote recommendations for staff sergeants. For large units, the force distributor is limited to 5% of their time and grade and time and service airmen with a promote now, and 10% of their time and grade and time and service staff sergeants, respectively, with a must promote. For small units that aggregate up, the panel president may award 5% of those time and grade and time and service airmen from all respective small units with a promote now, and 10% of their time and grade and time and service staff sergeants, respectively, with a must promote. Note: force distributors are not required to use all allocations if they believe the performance, quality, and promotion potential of airmen does not warrant the full share of allocations. The United States is a diverse nation in gender, ethnicity, and background. This diversity is a force multiplier within the Air Force. Your evaluation of all airmen must afford fair and equitable consideration. Preferential treatment of any airman, group, or career field is strictly prohibited. In determining who is best qualified for Promote Now or must promote promotion recommendations, use the Airman Leadership Qualities, or ALQs, giving careful consideration to the 4 major performance areas: executing the mission, leading people, managing resources, and improving the unit. You must consider the 4 major performance areas equally and consider all when evaluating the potential to serve in the next higher grade. In your review, avoid equalizing the value of performance between airmen and defaulting to or elevating other factors as pass-fail discriminators. To find a discriminator between records, use caution to avoid placing undue emphasis on any one factor or statement. However, job proficiency must remain the primary factor. It is imperative you score records based on executing the mission, leading people, managing resources, and improving the unit. You are prohibited from considering an airman's marital status or the employment, educational, or volunteer service activities of a spouse. Base your recommendations only on the material in each member's nomination folder. The information considered will be consistent, fair, and equitable, and the nomination folder will only include the airman's career brief, decorations, last 3 EPRs, including the EPR being considered for force distribution, and a push note from commanders when the panel proceedings are held virtually or when nominee packages are sent to panel members in advance of the physical panel. You will not discuss or disclose the opinion of any person not a member of the panel concerning an airman being considered, unless that opinion is contained in material provided to the panel. Remember, your primary task is to ensure each airman receives fair and equitable consideration and that the best qualified airmen are evaluated. Any panel member who believes he or she cannot in good conscience perform his or her duties as a member of the panel without prejudice or partiality will request relief by the panel president from such duty. Any panel member who believes the integrity of the panel's proceedings has been adversely affected by improper influence of superior military or civilian authority must report such action to the next highest level in the panel president's chain of command. Examples include misconduct of the panel president or a panel member, and/or for any other reason that questions integrity. The panel member will be afforded relief from his or her obligation not to disclose panel proceedings, and, upon receiving it, to report the basis for his or her belief. During your panel deliberations, you may review records containing adverse information. You will carefully weigh adverse information against the airman's record of performance and potential to serve in the next higher grade. Give the information appropriate weight, neither ignoring significant information or giving undue weight to matters of slight significance. In examining adverse information, consider its severity, repetition, timing, the amount of time passed since the incident, the airman's performance since, and the rating chain's assessment. Upon completion, you will, at a minimum, certify in your report that 1. The panel complied with the EFDP charge. 2. You were not subject to or aware of any attempt to coerce or influence improperly any action in the formulation of the panel's recommendation. 3. You were not party to or aware of any attempt at unauthorized communications. 4. You carefully considered the record of each airman. And 5. The staff sergeant recommended for a promote now or must promote recommendation are the best qualified when compared against those airmen they competed against. At the direction of the panel president, the disclosure of panel proceedings, findings, and results will be authorized. You will not keep the names of airmen considered or any statistical data pertaining to panel results, including your superior officers and commanders. At the completion of the panel process and the release of promotion recommendations, a post-enlisted force distribution panel outbrief is provided to eligible members to provide feedback and increase transparency. After the airman has been notified of their promotion recommendation, you are prohibited from sharing your personal observations of the panel. You may use the briefing slides provided to brief the panel process and structure, which includes overall numbers evaluated, the way the panel was organized, general procedures followed, and the demographics. Additional instructions. Specific guidance. In fulfilling your responsibilities as panel members, the following specific guidance applies. Staff Sergeant. Staff sergeants earn their 7 skill level and further develop as technicians, supervisors, and leaders. They are responsible for their subordinates' development and effective accomplishment of all tasks. Staff sergeants lead by example and ensure proper use of resources within their control. Staff sergeants will become proficient and internalize the airman leadership qualities and progress towards intermediate and advanced foundational competency levels. Staff sergeants will continue their development through enlisted professional military education and career broadening positions as they build a strong network within and outside their organizations. Staff sergeants will use their technical experience and expertise to leverage innovation to better meet mission objectives. Airman leadership qualities. Executing the mission. Staff sergeants are expected to demonstrate knowledge and professional skill in their assigned duties while achieving positive results and impact to the mission. Staff sergeants are required to foster a climate of dignity, respect, and inclusion while setting the example for a culture that does not tolerate sexual harassment, sexual assault, domestic violence, or discrimination of any kind. Staff sergeants will assess and take independent or directed action. Leading people. Staff sergeants are expected to lead teams and exercise emotional intelligence by maintaining self-awareness, managing their own emotions effectively, demonstrating an understanding of others' emotions, and appropriately managing relationships. Staff sergeants are required to adapt, innovate, and apply lessons learned to enable a culture of continuous improvement. When communicating, staff sergeants will articulate information in a clear and timely manner, both verbally and non-verbally, through active listening and messaging tailored to the appropriate audience. Managing resources. Staff sergeants are expected to be good stewards and demonstrate responsible management of all assigned resources, including time, equipment, people, funds, and/or facilities. Staff sergeants are expected to take responsibility for their actions and the behaviors of themselves or their team, demonstrating both reliability and transparency while learning from failure. Improving the unit. Staff sergeants will leverage their technical experience, expertise, and innovation in the decision-making process to better meet organizational objectives. They must make well-informed, effective, and timely decisions under one's control that weigh constraints, risks, and benefits to enable a culture of continuous improvement. Staff sergeants are expected to think creatively about different ways to solve problems, implement improvements, and demonstrate calculated risk taking to improve themselves and their work center or unit. Experience. Force development is important, and a staff sergeant's experience must be considered to lead effectively at the next grade. Experiences that contribute to a broader cultural awareness and enable better communication in a global operating environment are crucial to support strategic national interests. Deployed experience can be valuable in developing leadership skills. However, not all airmen are afforded the opportunity to deploy, and therefore, it is not a pass-fail item. Non-rated periods of supervision. Particular circumstances are authorized for non-rated periods to include lengthy initial skills and advanced training courses, as well as unique medical circumstances to include post-traumatic stress and airmen requiring a recovery period as a result of surgery, invasive treatment such as radiation and chemotherapy, counseling, and/or other rehabilitative treatments and services, as well as commander's determination of catastrophic events out of an airman's control. Attention will be given to the job performance, if any, performed during these periods. The quality of performance given each airman's unique non-rated circumstances is taken into consideration versus the quantity of performance compared to their peers. Having non-rated periods of supervision will not negatively affect an airman and must not be factored into your assessment of the record of performance. Being TDY or deployed is not an example of a period that is non-rated.